inflation is pushing more Americans to feel financially strapped. In recent data from the Census Bureau's Household Pulse survey, over 38% of U.S. adults, or nearly 90 million people, had a tough time paying for usual home expenses for a 7-day stretch toward the end of the month. That's up from almost 35% for the same time frame a year ago. But not everyone is feeling the same pressure. People ages 40 to 54 are under the biggest economic pinch. Hispanics are facing the largest budget problems. And states in the South with lower medium incomes, like Louisiana and Mississippi, appear to be struggling the most. So how are they getting by? More than 25 million households say they're turning to credit cards and even loans to make ends meet. Almost 2.7 million more than the previous year. And that means even more budget worries ahead as the average interest rate for those lines of credit now exceeds 20%.
The American dream, if you had to explain it to somebody who had never heard the concept before.
The American dream is basically hustle and grind culture. It's the reason why you're worried more about how much money you're making versus how much time you spending with your damn kids on some real shit. There's pros and cons to it. You know, it's like, that works too, right? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, there's pros and cons to it. For example, it's like, I know if I grind for 10 years right now, I can chill for 30 years later. But the American dream is definitely, it's a false promise, though, because capitalism is not going to allow for that many people to chase their bags at once. Somebody has to lose. And if you're a minority, it's probably going to be.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Unto the like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in Hebrew, which means peace. It's going to be able to make this a quick show. Beating the dead horse, I guess. Hey, as long as we're in this society, we always got something to talk about this society. And the society is crumbling. The average American people are suffering. And they're suffering because they chose to suffer. We was talking about this at camp in the spirit. Brother Daniela was getting, he was doing his thing. That's how it works. Sometimes brothers start and then others finish. It's just the spirit. And basically discussing the point of people just trying to live their miserable lives as it is. All right. And they believe that that's their sole purpose in life. And we're beyond those thoughts. We're beyond that mindset, because we know the greater mission at hand. While everybody else is caught up in debt, all right, all sorts of debt. All right, the average person, like I put the video up, the average person out here is in debt. All right, the average American person is in debt. Now, I remember coming up and you see people have the fancy cars and the fancy this and fancy that. And you assume because they work so goddamn hard that they got it, or they sold drugs, or they did something. A lot of them, they did the wrong thing to get it. But those that supposedly went the honest way to get the things that they so desire, they had to do it in not in a good way. In other words, they had to borrow money when they shouldn't have to borrow money. When you go back to the old American way, somebody could have bought a house for dollars on the pennies. Basically, they could have bought a house straight up if they had that type of money. Now you have to buy a house. It takes a lifetime. All right? Maybe 2 lifetimes. You and your child, because a mortgage is nothing but something that you pay off till you die. So you will never get to enjoy any fruits of any labor. But they have the mindset of the people, the average American, they have them chasing. All right, they have people just chasing, like the young brother was saying in the beginning of the video. The American dream, which once again, in order to live a certain dream, you have to be what? Asleep. Get a couple scriptures. I don't make this long. It's great to the point. Ecclesiastes or Sirach 31:1. Watching for riches consume the flesh, and the care thereof driveth away sleep. So when your mind is always heavy on paying bills and doing this, doing that in order to survive. Because people, who said it? Maybe it was one of the brother that put the video up. You just basically we just working. It's a hamster wheel. You're just working just to pay off the unnecessary things that you put yourself into. All right, that's why everybody's into. People are into the things that is not important. All right, and they believe the stuff that is not important is important, and the things that's not important they put it trivial. They make it small. And what's important is to serve Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. What's not important is chasing fucking worthless money. Scripture says in Proverbs, I don't have to get it. Proverbs 11:4, I believe. Riches, matter of fact, let me get it. I'm quoting it. Proverbs 11:4. It says, riches profit not in the day of wrath, but riches deliver from death. But righteousness delivered from death. Slakia. Same chapter. It should be the same chapter, actually. Oh, that one was good, though. I ain't gonna lie. Read it again. I don't have to get the other one. I'll just quote it. It says, riches profit not in the day of wrath. So what you work hard for and sweat and lose sleep for is not going to stop death from coming knocking at your door. That's not going to prevent death. Like, oh, he got riches. We not mess with that. No. When it's time for you to go, it's time for you to go. And you're going to come to find out those riches didn't mean jack-ish. But this is how they have, people are always chasing something. Okay? They just chasing the bag. Talk to the average Jake out there, they'll tell you, chasing the bag, just chasing the bag. That's all they know. We're programmed to that. That's the matrix. That's the life. And if you don't have that bag, you don't get the respect. You don't get nothing. You don't get the pretty girl. Nobody looks your direction because you look a certain way. So they got the world in this weird, well, it's always been like that. All right? It's always been like that. But more here, when they give you the false indication that you can make it if you work hard enough, which is bullshit. All right? It says, watching care will not let a man slumber, as sore disease breaketh sleep. The rich have great labor in gathering riches together. When he rests, he is filled with his delicacy. All right, and it says, the poor laboreth in his poor estate, and when he leaveth off, he is still needy, because it's that Ferris wheel. All right, you got two classes of people: the very rich and the poor. And the poor is always gonna be chasing and remain poor, make poor decisions because they're chasing to be rich. And the rich that already got, they're going to keep maintaining the riches that they have. And it's all part of the failed system that everybody so happens to fall under the category of. But this failed system is because the elites have set it up this way. It says, oh, matter of fact, I got something else. Let me get that real quick. Proverbs. Oh, no, not that one. 23. It says, labor not to be rich. So our job is, we must make ends meet, our daily bread, which is not a very popular thing for people. All right. The scriptures clearly tell you living godliness with contempt. Living contempt is godliness. But in this society, having abundance of unnecessary things is what makes you rich. Now everybody's heading to the same category. All right, everybody's heading to that same category. It says, cease from labor not to be rich. Cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not, which is these riches. For riches certainly make themselves, this is scripture I was looking for a while. For riches certainly make themselves wings, they fly away as an eagle towards heaven. So it doesn't, all the stuff that we're concerned of does not matter. And that's the bottom line. None of this shit matters. The only thing that ever mattered was serving the Lord. And the world's going to come to find out that all their time and effort, all the years and abundance spending when they 9 to 5, there's nothing wrong with working. But when you put your all into nothing, college degrees that got you nowhere, all right, working 9 to 5 that absolutely does nothing for your soul, you're going to come to realize you wasted your time. Your life been a waste. But those that understand their purpose and they come to that same conclusion that Solomon did. All right, Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of men. So Solomon had all the riches. Solomon knew everything. All right. And he came to that conclusion. Ecclesiastes 6 and I believe it's 10. Sorry. 11. Seeing there be many things that increase vanity, what is a man the better? For who knoweth what is good for men in his life? All days of his vain life, which spendeth as a shadow. For who can tell a man what shall be after him under the sun? So most of the people, matter of fact, I was supposed to start at I started at 8. Ecclesiastes 6 and 8. For what have the wise man more than the fool? What have the poor that knoweth to walk before the living? Better is the sight of the eyes than wandering of the desires. This also vanity and vexation of spirit. So it says, better is the sight of the eyes. So it's better to go window shopping and not chase your desires. But when you live in a society that's all it is about is chasing a desire that you want and you cannot achieve it, all right? Like Scarface, the world is yours. And he only probably ruled for like a couple of years and he was put to death. You know, that's the movie. But that's the reality of it. All right? He was chasing a certain desire. For then the wandering of desire is this also vanity and vexation of spirit. So it's vanity, it's vain, it's nothing, it's worthless. That which have been is named already, and is known that it is man, neither may he contend with him that is mightier than he. Seeing there be many things that increase vanity, which is what is man the better. So many things increase vanity, which is nothing. There's many things that distract people that increases the worth of nothingness. We live in a society where nothingness is at an all-time high. Now people are realizing with their nothingness that they serve no purpose. So it says, for who knoweth what is good for man? The Most High does. And in this life, all the days of his vain life, which he spendeth as a shadow. So if our lives are nothing but a shadow, shouldn't you give it your all for the right reason? All right. So we're supposed to give it all for the right reason. Like it says, was the Wisdom of Solomon popped in my mind, the 2nd chapter. But that's what the ungodly thinks. The ungodly thinks that they will never live again. But the righteous knows is about the living legacy. What is the living legacy? The righteousness that you conduct yourself with. That's worth it. All right. If we live our lives as a shadow, then guess what? We're gonna do the best that we can, and that's how the mindset you have to have. For who can tell a man what shall be after him under the sun? No one. That's what Solomon also said. With all the riches and so forth, when you give it to the next man, you don't know what he's gonna do with it. All right, they're not gonna know what they're gonna do with that, with all that stuff, that BS. I'm gonna end it off on this. Luke, is it 12? I think it's one of my favorites. Wow, 12 and 16. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentiful. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do, because I have no more room to bestow my fruits? And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build a greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul that has much goods laid up for many years, take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But the Most High said unto him, thy fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. So he plotted, the man, he had all these good stuff. He thought he was going to live forever. But the Lord cut his time short. All right? And call him a fool. Whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? Somebody else, the ones after him. Says, so is he that laid up his treasure tent for himself, and is not rich towards the Most High. So we supposed to be rich towards the Lord. All right? That's where it all boils down to. So with that, we'll start real quick to the Spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Set your priorities straight. The Lord is about to come. All hell's about to break loose. Keep banking on the Lord. Keep banking on the Lord. Keep doing the Lord's will. Because when shit hits the fan, all those riches, riches are defense. But that's not gonna. What's about to happen cannot defend you. What's about to happen? All right. It may bought you a little bit of time, but that time can run real short. It doesn't matter. Get the priorities straight. That being said, shalom to your elect. Our nation is in shalom.